Hilchos Yom HaKippurim Peragim Halacha Hey. Machon Nesher and he brings the blood into the Heichel. And in this day he will spray with his blood 43 times. We'll go down to the Peirush. And it says he brings in the blood of the parachatos and the damasoya laheichol to the heichol, and then he goes ahead and he sprays from both of them on this day 43 times. Ve'elohein. Let's see what are the 43. First he sprays the damapal. 7 sprays in the Holy of Holies, between the staves of the Aron, the Holy Ark, Kaperes, near the Kaperes, the Tefach. That Tefach Shenema, as it says, of Nea Kaperes Yaza. You should do it before the Kaperes. And and there he sprays Aras Lamala, 1 towards the heavens words, V'Sheva Lamata, and 7 down towards the earth. Pia Shmuel Lomdu, from Kabbalah we learned, Shezeh Shenema Sheva Pa'amim, that when it says 7 times in the Torah, it's more Yesal Hazaya Rishon. It's more. It doesn't include that first spraying. Rambam explained it this way, and he would do with his finger on the face of the kaperes, Kedmo, and before the kaperes, he would spray 7 times from the blood with his finger. Is 7 Yazeh Sheva Pomim. So that's a separate one. The first one is the Lokach Midam Apar. That's 1 time. The other is 7 more times. That's why you have 8 altogether. V'kacho Yemoina. This is the way he counted. Achaz, which is the first one, which is upwards towards up, and the others then afterwards he counts Achaz and he sprays down v'achas, 1 down. Achaz and 2 down. Achaz v'sholosh, 3 down. Achaz 1 up, 4 down. Achaz v'chomesh, 1 and 5. Achaz v'sheish, 1 and 6. Achaz v'sheva, 1 and 7. V'loma moina kocha. Why does he have to count this way? Because shema yishkach v'yimnech hazoy rishonim miklal hasheva. So because he shouldn't make a mistake and count the first one as being part of the 7. Then he takes from the blood of the soil between the staves of the golden oren, Shmoina 8 times. Az lamala, 1 sprayed upwards, V'sheva lamata, and 7 downwards. Umoin, and he counts the same way he counted before. V'choizer, and he exits. YK Halacha from the Holy of Holies. And he goes and sprays in the heichol on the pereches, which was separating between the Holy of Holies and the Holy. Shmoina. He again sprays from the blood of the par 8 times. Az lamalo, 1 above, upwards. Sheva lamata, 7 downwards. Shekach nema b'damapo. This is what it says by the damapo, and you should spray it ala kaperes. And that means inside, but lefnei kaperes means when he's outside in the outer room. Umoine kebeder shmoine po'amim. He counts in the way that he does 8 times, 1 above and 7 below. Then he goes ahead and sprays from the soil, that's similar amount. So you have 3 times 7 is how much? Huh?
21.
It's 21. At 21, al Peirush HaMeir again, on the Peirush is 8 times, one above Aras Lamala V'Sheva Lamata, one above is seven below. Shenem B'Dam HaSoya, because by Dam HaSoya it says also Dam HaKash also Dam HaPor. He has to do the same spraying like he did to the Dam HaPor. And Umayna Geder Shemoina Bifnim, and he counts it the same way he counted before. One and two, etc. V'chol elo ha'azoyes einem miskaven ben ha'azoyes da l'mala v'lemata l'kelmatzlef. All of these sprayings, he doesn't have intent to spray upwards or downwards, but only like a matzlef, and we'll see soon what it means, how he uses it. It's a Mishnah in Yuma 43b. Rashi explains that the intent is she shouldn't think that the first one is on the top of the Peirush, the upper part of the golden arc, and the 7 below are in the middle. But it means kamatzlev in a row, like you see it one after the other. Rashi adds he doesn't know what it means matzlif, but the Rambam in his explanation, the Mishnayos, explains that when you strike somebody with a stick, and that's what the Bostoner says, that if you would begin to strike someone, he starts from the upper part and he goes down below. So to the Kohen Gadol would have intent that the eight drops of blood should be should be one after the other, because in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the second base Hamikdash, there was no Oron, it fell on the earth one after the other. And afterwards, Ma'arav Shnei Adamim, he mixes the two bloods, Dam HaPor and Dam HaSoya, the Dam HaPor and the Dam HaSoya together, Umazeh Mishneim, and he then sprays from both of them Arba Azoyas, 4 springs, Al Arba Kanis Mizbeach Hazor, on the 4 corners of the golden Mizbeach, Shebehechol, that's outside in the outer room before the Holy of Holies, V'Sheva Hazoyas, and 7 more sprays, Al Emtsoi Shel Mizbeach Zeh, on the roof of this Mizbeach. Here it's only 7. So therefore, let's see how we get to 43. Peirush HaKadoshim 8 and 8 is 16, right? 8 from the Dam HaPor, from the bull, and 8 from the blood of the goat. Then is 16 on the Peirush and the Heichol. Again, 8 and 8 is 32. Another 11 from that which is mixed, 4 on the corners, and 7 on the roof. Altogether we come to 43. The Radvaz questions how the Kohen Gadol spray in the Bayesheni, the Dam HaSoya. He had to do it between the staves of the ark, which wasn't there. In the Bayesheni there was no ark. And the answer is in the Mishnah Yuma. It says regarding the incense, where does he place it? Once the Aaron was no longer present, there was a stone that was there from the days of the first prophets, and its name was shiur, a little bit above the ground, 3 finger breadths, and on that he would place the fire pan. Therefore, just like that took place in that space, certainly when there was no Aaron, that's where he stood right before it when he sprayed the blood, and he would spray in the Holy of Holies where the Aaron would have stood had it been there. And even when the Aaron was there, he did not spray on the Kaparis itself, but near it. And the blood would fall on the ground. So in the Bayesheni, that was the same situation. That's called on the Kaparis Bein Abadim, between the staves, meaning in the place now when the Kaparis was between the Badim, when the Aaron was there. but you don't need the Aron, you don't need the Kaparis. Chodesh questions on the Rambam who says that the spring was near the Kaparis at Tefach. Where does he get this Tefach from? And the answer is maybe he learned it from Psachim 36a. There it says how thick was the Kaparis. It was 1 Tefach, because we find by Lechem upon him Tefach. And in Sukkah also Hey Omid Aleph, it says Al Pnei HaKaparis Keimo. And no, it says Pnei, there's no face that's less than a Tefach. So the Rambam learns from that, we're talking in a distance of a Tefach. Mishra Melech points out that the Rambam didn't explain if the spraying of the blood has to reach between the bottom or the Peirush and the Heichol. What's that happens if it didn't reach to it? It didn't reach it. Is it called a spraying or not? From Teisus and Zvochim, it would seem that it didn't have to reach at all the curtain or between the Oran. Yitzchak writes, the Rambam explains it, clarified from what it says, when he says next to the Kaparis HaTefach. And that would seem that he didn't have to reach the Kaparis. What he wrote, not above and not below, but rather like a whip, which would seem that the blood would fall and not on the actual Kaparis, not on the actual curtain. The Baal Tanur explains Kimatzliv, like when you strike someone with a stick, you begin between the shoulders and you go to below. But the Rice and Yuma explains that when he does spray one above, he places his hand facing downwards and sprays and flips his hand upwards. And when he sprays downwards, he flips his hand. He places his hand upwards and flips downwards. And Rashi explains, like one strikes with a stick, he starts between the shoulders and he continues downwards. And so too with the spraying. He doesn't do it on the roof of the ark on the kaparis, but rather between the roof and the ark, downwards, and the blood would not touch the kaparis. When he does one above, he places his hand downwards and he shifts it he flips it upwards. And when he has to do the 7 downwards, he turns over his hand so that it's in the up position, and he sprays downwards. And every drop of blood, it would be lower than the other one before it. And they all go down to the earth. The Rambam mentions the 7 sprayings on the center of the golden mizbeach, which is called the inner altar. But in Yuma, it's written that he does it on the tahara, means the clear, purified mizbeach of the Aron. The Gemara questions, what does it mean, the purified? Amarava Bashilo, Palgud mizbeach. It actually doesn't mean on top, it means on the side of the mizbeach, halfway down on the mizbeach. This means in the middle of the mizbeach. Like you say in an Aramaic, Tzorayim Tiaro, in the middle of the day, so too Torah is in the middle. The Gemara answers questions. The Bryce says they would push away the coals to make room to spray it. And it means, it seems Tahara means to be clear. And the answers Amar Rashilo, that means on when you move away the coals, you would have the mizbeach, you would see the gold of the mizbeach. As it says in Shmois, Ke'etzem Hashamayim L'Toya, and it is like the actuality of the heavens for its clarity, meaning he pushes away the coals which are left there from the daily bringing of the incense, so that the spray should be on the actual mizbeach and not on the coals. Therefore, when the Mishnah says al Tehor Shel Mizbeach, it doesn't mean on the middle of the Mizbeach. It means on the top of the Mizbeach. And why does the Rambam say on the middle? However, in Perek Dalet, he explains he pushes away the coals, the Eifa, and the dust, the ashes that are on the Mizbeach, on the golden one, sideways and sideways, until he sees the actual gold of the Mizbeach. And it would seem that that's where you spray it. Maybe it means in the middle, that you should push it away in the middle of the top of the Mizbeach. The Marie Korkus in Perek Dalet also points out that this is according to the conclusion of the Gemara. And why does he mention over here in the middle? And also Seif Avodas Yisrael questions this as well. And they both answer the Rambam doesn't mean on the middle of the side of the Mizbeach, but he means in the middle, meaning in the southernmost portion of the Mizbeach, because the Mizbeach, he would be facing the Mizbeach, he would be facing north, and the side closest to him was the southern side, like we find in Perek Dalet Halacha Beis, that the intent is in the center, on the southern side of the Mizbeach Hazov, of the golden Mizbeach.